So hello those catching up on video, thank you for joining. This is Ella from Nalini Yoga. We're at Dinner Beach today, so welcome and thank you for tuning in. So today we're just going to do a nice Hatha class with a little bit of movement in there, and it's an all levels class, so even if you're a beginner you can join in. If you've got a little bit more experience, feel free to move into a slightly deeper version of the pose if you're comfortable, but just take it at your own pace, listen to your body as normal, the usual stuff. So thank you for tuning in. So we're going to begin by closing our eyes, maybe lying back on our mats or taking a seated position with relaxed shoulders, relaxed hands, just gently shutting the eyes, allowing the face to soften, the jaw to relax. And taking a moment here to just tune in to your surroundings, feeling the ground supporting your body, perhaps feeling the sun on your skin, and just listening in to the sounds of the waves behind us here. Becoming aware of your body and your surroundings. Start to notice your natural state of breathing. Become familiar with the movement in your chest and belly. Perhaps some subtle adjustment in your shoulders. Perhaps feeling your body pressing down into the ground with every inhale and exhale. If you like here, you can place your right hand on your belly, left hand on your heart. And start to breathe into your right hand on your belly. Taking that breath deeper and filling that space. Allowing that hand to rise upwards before dropping down with your exhale. Then moving that right hand to the base of your rib cage, inhale fully here. Feeling your ribs expand, the muscles stretching between them. And allowing the breath to stop here before exhaling. And then you can place your hand over your left or next to it and breathe just into this upper chest area, into your collarbones, into your shoulders. Perhaps a slightly shallower breath, but a breath none the same. And then if you wish, you can combine this breath or just go back to a regular belly breath if that's more comfortable for you. If you're happy to take the 3-part breath, inhale fully into the belly first. And once that space is full, move your hand to your lower rib cage, fill up here. And then move your hand to your heart area and filling up that upper chest into an entire big breath throughout the torso. And then exhaling from the top down. Taking this one last time before releasing your hands to your sides, coming back to a regular breath. Notice how your body feels now. And if there's still some tension here, relax each muscle and continue to soften your face to the rhythmic swirl of the waves. Listen to them drawing in and out. Breathing the sea air deeply and fully. Your breath like the waves, steadily in and out. Draw to mind the color of the water around you. Imagine the white tops of the waves as they move gently, crashing onto the shore. Imagine the depth, the strength, the beauty and the sparkle. Imagine letting all those qualities wash over you. Let the sea be an embodiment of truth. Washing away fears and any negative, unkind thoughts. Leaving you with a sense of confidence within yourself. Let the theme for your practice today be one of letting go of past mistakes, and allowing you to create the life you want to live. Draw your mind and awareness back to your body here now. Once again, tuning in to your muscles, to your breath, the sensations of sound, temperature of your skin, a gentle breeze. Bringing your awareness down your body to your toes and down your arms to your hands and fingers. Just gently moving these now. Giving them a wiggle. bringing some movement to your body, reconnecting mind, body, breath. Movement. Maybe rubbing your hands together, placing them over your eyes. It's pretty bright here. Giving them a bit of a rub or shielding them before you blink them open gently. And to come up into seated, you can just roll slowly onto your side. Coming up nice and slowly. And just taking in all of those views in front of you, perhaps just taking some gentle stretches that feel right for you, perhaps a bit of a hug. Once again, I invite you to take that intention. I let go of past mistakes. I create the life I want to live. And we're going to start by moving a bit like we see here. So we're just going to move slowly backwards and forwards, a bit like a kind of seated cat and cow, but a more sort of gentle version. Just imagining your lower spine, just starting this undulation, a bit like a snake, moving forwards and back. And you can kind of time that with the waves that we've got behind us here, or even with your breath. Perhaps leaning forwards and inhaling, drawing the shoulders back, exhaling, rounding really gently here, just very subtle movements. And allowing the neck to follow this gentle undulation through the spine. And if it feels comfortable for you to do so, you can start circling the body as well. Inhaling maybe as you lean forward, exhaling as you round the back, drawing the belly in. And I'm going to let my neck kind of follow this motion as well, so I'm allowing my neck a little bit of movement here. But you can look after your own neck, see how it feels. If it doesn't quite like this motion, you could go for some more static stretches instead. And perhaps encouraging a slightly deeper bend forwards. Just remembering it's the morning, so going easy on our bodies. And once you've done that a few times in one direction, start to take it in the other direction as well. Perhaps exaggerating that movement a little bit more now. Closing your eyes, moving slowly. Taking one more round before coming back to center. And then exhaling, padding the fingers forwards, just taking a very gentle fold, allowing the head to come down and drawing the spine out of the pelvis here, pressing your sits bones and the sides of your feet into the ground. So I'm going to take my right hand up and allow the left hand to follow, but you guys that are facing opposite me can do the other way. So that's the left hand up, and I'm just literally going to take those fingers and brush them through the sky above, coming up slowly and taking that hand behind me into a twist. So making sure that I inhale, sit up nice and tall, exhale to encourage that twist perhaps a little bit more. You can stay here, or you can take a little fold to the opposite knee. So you can take your left hand up and over and fold to that left side if you like. Before drawing back up again. And this time we'll unwind that twist into a forward fold. So taking that rear hand up behind us, slowly coming forward, maybe reaching a little bit further this time. Feel free to adjust your legs if they're getting a little bit tight. Taking the opposite hand up and over behind us, taking that twist. Perhaps feeling the sun penetrating into those deeper muscles. Encouraging a little bit of softness here. If you want to take that little fold to the opposite leg, you can do. You can take that one, put over, fold into the opposite side. You can hold on to your opposite leg if you want to, but no pressure here. Before rising up, back to that twist gently. Inhaling here, then exhaling, getting ready for that little forward fold again over the legs. Take an inhale, coming up into seated, and I'm just going to take my right leg, which is your left, and just plant it down. I'm on the stand here, but you can plant it onto your mat. The other leg is just crossed gently in front, and we're just going to go for a little bit of a push upwards. So with the leg pressed down into the mat, the knee bent, the other leg just soft here. You can do either side. If you're copying me, it will be your left. Your right hand's going to come down to support you, and you're just going to go for a really gentle push to open up the hip here, pushing the hips towards the sky. Coming down, seeing how that feels. Maybe it feels appropriate for you to straighten that leg if you want to, so you can come up and maybe slide that leg to go for a fuller stretch, or you can bend it to get the hips more open. Either's fine. Taking that one more time, so 3 times in total before we switch to the other side. Another big reach, maybe that foot slides and straightens. And then just doing the same on the other side, coming over into that gentle 90-degree angle here. My foot is planted, solid. My opposite hand is just there ready to support, and I'm going to go for a swoop and a lift. Just pushing off the front of this leg here, over the shin. Again, if it feels nice, you can straighten that leg. Go for more of a reach. It does feel like a bit of a sun worshipping pose, this one. So just extending that hand to the sky, supporting your weight here, and then coming down again. So we're going to move into kneeling now. I'm going to get lots of sand on my mat. So gently just positioning yourself on your mat so you're in a kneeling position. If you have any issues with your knees here, I'm going to move up and down, but obviously just coming down to a position that's right for you. So if you can't get your bottom over your heels, it's totally fine. You can shove a block or a pillow if you're at home. But what we're going to do is just slowly pushing all of our weight into the fronts of the legs. So I want you to squeeze your glutes together here. And we're going to start switching on these muscles in our thighs as well. So squeezing the glutes here, engaging your quads, start to slowly rise and bring the hips over the knees, squeezing here. Nice straight kind of hip flexors, and then a big reach upwards. Inhaling here, bring the palms together and squeezing again to kind of do the opposite motion all the way down. Just paying attention to all those points of contact. If you can only get down to here, that's fine. If you want to come all the way down and fold a little bit here, you can do. You can go all the way further. And then as you inhale, you rise up. You can take the palms together, press them into each other to give your shoulders a little bit of action behind you. Squeeze the glutes and another slow press. The slower you do it, the harder it seems to feel. So good. And then down. Super simple. And if you want to go for that little fold forward, you can do. This is a nice opportunity to get into child's pose, give the shoulders a bit of a stretch out. You can keep the bottom up high, you can bring the bottom to the heels. Forehead comes down to the mat. Just feeling a little gentle stretch across the hips, the glutes and the lower back. Maybe a little forehead rub whilst you're here. And then when you're ready, you can use your hands to help you and bring that right foot forward, coming into a low lunge. We'll start coming up a little bit higher on the mat here now. So pushing the hips forward and squeezing the glutes here to get the knee over that ankle, grip through the toes on that right side and press that left shin into the mat. Big reach upwards. Enjoying that lunge, feeling the side body kind of lifting here through the rib cage. Then we're going to exhale, bring the hands down and walk the left foot to meet the right. So we come into a forward fold. Planting the feet down solidly underneath the hips, gripping through each toe, squeeze the glutes here and lift the tailbone. Allow the head to hang down, give it a good shake out. Take an inhale here and rise, lifting the body, coming up halfway, keeping the knees soft, legs engaged and strong, elbows tucked in. Taking the shoulders away from the ears so we get a nice length through the neck here with the arms lowered. Then exhale, drawing the body back down into your fold and then slowly bringing the bottom down to the heels. Start to look ahead, keeping a nice flat back. And as you draw the belly in, you'll notice the lower back stops arching a little bit here, so we can get some strength there. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze through the glutes, and then we're going to lift the arms, coming into a chair pose. If this feels a bit intense for you can come up a little bit higher. And then you're going to push through every toe, through your feet, all the way up, squeezing the muscles in your legs, big reach. Exhale, palms coming down into Tadasana. Just taking a couple of breaths here and reminding yourself of the theme of your affirmations. I let go of past mistakes. I create the life I want to live. A big reach upwards again. A big salute to the sun. Exhaling, bending the knees, bowing down this time. Palms by the forehead, drawing the belly in as you come into your fold. Giving your head a nice gentle shake out. Then inhaling to rise, coming up halfway again. Little lift here, gripping through the toes all the time. Exhaling, planting the hands down. Coming back into that low lunge. Left foot steps back down, right foot stays forward. Take a moment here to have a reach. And then exhale, both hands coming down onto the mat, planting them down. Bringing the right foot down here. Planting the hands down onto the mat, finding yourself in a plank position. If you've got a bit of uneven ground, just find a comfortable position for your hands. Stacking elbows and shoulders over wrists. Maybe it's a modified plank with the knees lowered, or you can take a high plank if you prefer. Draw the belly in. Nice deep breath here, feeling the strength through each fingertip. Then exhale to lower the knees, bend the elbows, and melt the belly, chest, and chin down onto the mat. Inhale, draw the shoulders back and peek forward. Maybe squeezing the glutes together here to press a little bit more through the hands, help you up a little bit higher, feeling that chest reaching forward, expanding through that heart area. Then exhaling, turning the toes over, pivoting over the knees, and just drawing up nice and slowly, gently into downward facing dog. So the hands are shoulder width apart. Fingers are spread, the feet can just walk themselves up and down, giving yourself a lovely stretch down the backs of the legs. Draw the belly in, lifting that tailbone towards the sky. Then bringing both knees down. This time the left foot steps forward, so the right foot stays back, left foot comes forward, and we come into a low lunge. If you feel like your lunge is a bit more of a proposal position, you want to make it slightly deeper, just scooch that right knee back, taking a deeper stretch through this hip flexor here. Gripping through those toes again, pressing the knee down into the mat, swoop the arms up. And then exhale, let the fingers trail down slowly, feeling that space between each one. Bring the palms down either side of that front foot, and you're going to scooch the right foot forward to meet the left. Shaking out the head, bending the legs, taking a semicircle sway from side to side. Then inhaling to rise up, floating upwards, keeping those knees soft, glutes engaged, legs strong. Tuck the elbows in. Exhale to lower the head below the hips, then squeeze the hips down towards the heels, flat back, rising forward into that pull-up kind of position of heavy things. Shoulders down, belly tucks in. Nice deep chair pose here. You can keep your hands on your thighs if you're feeling a bit sleepy this morning, or you can raise them up again. Maybe holding this here, maybe playing with a little float on the toes, rocking backwards and forwards. It's up to you. If you want to come up a little bit higher, you can do here. Then sweep the hands down. Inhale, rise and push up. Let the fingers once again trail outwards as you come back into Tadasana. Enjoy the view and then close your eyes and picture that view. And as you open them, see if it's as accurate. Then take a swoop all the way back up again. Exhale, this time imagine yourself diving into that sea, spreading the fingers nice and wide, bending the knees, perhaps imagining the water's a little warmer than it is. Coming back into your fold, A little bit of movement from side to side. Keep it really soft. Let the arms hang, or even hold onto the elbows here. Just loosening off that lower back. Then let's inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, fold, plant the hands. Step the right foot back, left foot forwards, just the same as we did before. Taking a big swoop towards the sky. Then exhaling, both hands planting down. That same vinyasa that we did before. Hands coming down. Left foot can step back to meet the other knee. Or you can come into that high plank position. Take an inhale here. Then exhale, lower the knees first. Release the feet, melt down. All the way onto the mat. Take a little wriggle from side to side. Slide the hands forwards, forearms pressing down onto the mat, elbows underneath shoulders, and just get a little bit of length through the spine first. So inhale, thinking about getting taller, squeezing the glutes together here, drawing those shoulders back as well. If that feels a bit too intense, just come down a little bit here. Try not to lose the neck and the shoulders though. And just move those hands forwards if you prefer. And when you're ready to turn this into Cobra, slide the hands back to support underneath the elbows, big push up, then turn the toes over, pivot over the knees. Optional child's pose, pause, or straight up into downward facing dog. I'll let you decide what you want to do here. Once again, maybe walking out the feet, giving the legs a good stretch. Warm here. So bringing your knees down onto the mat, we're going to come into tabletop position here. So nice straight arms, elbows facing forwards, so inner elbows facing forwards even, so that you could come down like Sphinx pose again. Shoulders, elbows, wrists all aligned, fingers nice and wide, little sway from side to side, and then we'll move through cat and cow. So we're going to inhale and draw the chest forwards, looking ahead, belly drops. Tailbone lifts. I'm going to go for a wiggle from side to side. And then I'm going to exhale into cat, rounding the spine, spreading the shoulder blades a little bit here, lifting the center of my spine towards the sky. Perhaps a little bit of backwards and forwards motion here. Then inhale back into cow. And you can move with your own breath here, or you can pause for a couple of breaths. Just enjoy the languid stretching. One more time in each pose. And perhaps turning the palms over and giving the wrists a little bit of stretch out. You can either hold that position or roll the hands and roll through the fingertips. You might turn the hands outwards or even turn them to face you. Just giving the wrists a little break. And then when you're ready to reset in tabletop, we're going to lift the right leg out behind us, keeping it in line with the body, keeping the hips level so the lower back is flat, pushing that heel away, engaging through the toes, so we're pointing the toes to the ground. Take a big reach here, maybe an exhale, bringing the knee underneath you, maybe rounding the spine as well. Bring the head in, inhaling to reach out again, exhaling, maybe chin to chest. Then we go for a big reach out behind and cross it over our left foot to take a twist. Taking your gaze over to that right ankle, which is now on our left side. Getting a little twist through the side body. Then inhale, swing that leg all the way around back to the right hand side. Plant the foot down and come up into gate pose. So my knee has got a nice bit of soft sand, but if you're at home you can always double over the mat. I'm just going to turn this way so you can see, which is now the opposite. So that leg's out. I'm going to grip through those toes to engage the muscles in my legs, and I'm also going to raise my kneecap here to strengthen my quads here. So taking the arms out either side. Nice breath here, making sure the shoulders aren't up to the ears. Just enjoying the stretch. You have some options here. You can stay as you are if that's a deep enough stretch on the inside of the leg, or you can take that right hand out to the right leg. It looks the opposite now. And you can go for a reach completely diagonally. You can increase it by turning the palm over and reaching over your head. And you can stay there, or alternatively bring this top hand down to the ground and swoop the opposite way. So some of you might enjoy like a real traditional hatha class where you're holding a position for a while. Some of you might want to move a little bit more this morning. So just focusing on your own practice and your own body, working with what feels right today. Maybe it feels really juicy in one position and you want to stay there, or maybe you want to just keep moving like the waves. Just really focusing on the sensations in your body, making sure that you're not moving into pain. Coming back to center. And then taking those palms inwards. So what we're going to do is take that right foot, step it forward, back to that low lunge position. And what we can do here is you can take a little low lunge, or you can move with your hands down straight into warrior one. And you can use your hands to support you before turning those toes over, or if you're comfortable coming up and stepping into warrior one here, you can do. So with warrior one, the left toe reaches towards the left corner of the mat, the right toes stay facing forward, and that knee is over the ankle. If you find your rear ankles lifting, just shorten the stance, maybe make it a bit wider to allow any tightness in the hips and in the calf muscles here. So pushing down that rear heel, really pushing the feet apart, big reach to the hands, maybe looking upwards. You can open up the arms maybe to cactus arms here, getting a lovely stretch through the chest. You can take the palms and spread the fingers too. And then we're going to go for a little balance forward, so palms coming together. You don't have to go particularly deep into warrior three. Got another helicopter again. You're going to lift that rear leg, go for a balance, or come into a little balance. And then you're going to step that leg back down to open up to warrior two. And if you like that little transition, you can go for it again as well. Lifting up, coming into a balance, maybe taking a little bit deeper, maybe taking the fingertips down if you prefer, and then stepping back into warrior two. And this time we're going to hold warrior two. So your heels might be in line with each other, or the front heel might bisect the rear foot. The rear foot is turned out at 90 degrees to the front. And what we want to do is, rather than have our shoulders up high, draw them away from the ears and kind of pull them together behind you so they're engaged. Keeping the arms in line with each other, looking over that front middle finger, keeping that knee over the ankle here. You can stay in warrior two, or you can lift and come back down, just moving the legs here if you need to. Just bobbing up and down like you see. And from here, we're going to come into a side angle position. Options are to rest your forearm on that front thigh, and you can either take that arm straight up towards the sky, looking up at that palm if you're able to balance here, or you can swoop it across your front body and swoop to the front of your mat with the arm. And that swoop helps your shoulder get into the right position here. If that feels comfortable for you, you can stay there. If you want to try a little bit harder, you can lift this resting forearm and reach out in front of you here. Alternatively, you can take that hand to the mat and go for a deeper reach. Feel free to always come up a level if you need to. We're then going to rotate and bring both hands down. You can lower this left knee and release the feet, and then walk this right leg out to the side of your mat. And I'm going to let the toes face outwards and the heel inwards, taking a little bit of a wiggly lizard pose. So I quite like moving in lizard. Some people just might want to really hunker down. But as it's the morning, and usually the hips are a little bit tight in the morning, we're just going to try and work with them. So using the knee like as if you're drawing a circle here. Maybe you hold this position and look over your shoulder. You can take your hand to your lower back on the opposite hip and get a nice shoulder stretch. Or perhaps you might prefer coming down onto your forearms. Or you can continue the wiggling. I quite like a few shoulder circles here as well. And then scooting that right foot back onto the mat, we can take our weight backwards and splay the toes, give them a good stretch out to stretch out the back of this right leg. Taking that foot forwards to plant our hands down, we'll take the right foot back so we come back into cat and cow. You can do an optional vinyasa here, but as this is an all levels class, I'm going to cue the slightly easier option, which is to move into cat and cow. Inhaling, drawing the chest forward, sinking the belly, lifting the tailbone. Exhaling, rounding the spine. Inhaling, chest coming forwards. Exhaling, rounding the spine. And let's do that leg lengthening exercise again. So this time the left leg comes out behind us. Heel pushes away, toes flex towards the ground. Draw the belly in, coming up nice and strong through the hands. And maybe going for that little knee to chin scenario again as you exhale, rounding the back. Inhaling to reach. We'll do that same reach out behind as we inhale and cross over as we exhale. So toes coming down towards the ground, looking over at that heel, getting a nice twist through the body. Then we'll inhale, swoop that leg out behind, keeping it engaged, swooping it out to your left side, coming into gate pose on this side. Just a reminder for those at home, it's going to look like this, but the opposite way for you. Taking the arms out, remember to grip through the toes to engage, strengthening these legs, drawing the kneecap up, squeezing the glutes together, feeling all those subtle adjustments here, improving this pose, making it slightly harder. We can just kind of chill out in them, but we probably want to do some strengthening too. Taking the arms out either side. And you can either pause here as before, or you can go for that lovely diagonal, reaching your left hand out towards your left leg, taking a nice diagonal to reach upwards with the right arm. Nice side body stretch. You can increase that stretch by turning the palm over and reaching it over your head. And you can also take those arms out and then down to the sand or the ground and swoop that arm across if you like. Again, you can either pause in these positions or move between them according to your body. And then we're going to do that little step forwards into Warrior One again. So you can start off in your low lunge pose. The left foot comes out in front of you, taking that low lunge position, maybe going for a big reach here. And then if you want to, taking your hands down to help you, or turning the toes over and pushing up, planting that foot down, coming into Warrior One. Giving this rear right leg a good stretch out through the calf, toes pointing to the corner of the mat, making sure the hips are facing forwards, and we can get a big reach through the arms again here. So we're just taking that same few poses that we did before, but this time on the left side. Grip those rear toes in and push that heel into the mat. And then when you're ready, plant the palms together, taking a little bit of a balance here, and then stepping into Warrior Two, and then maybe going again, trusting yourself a little bit more to come up on that left leg. You might find that one leg is better than the other. Maybe you go even deeper into your Warrior Three, keeping the hips level before stepping down and adjusting into Warrior Two. So finding a comfortable position here. If that knee is swooping inwards, try and get it in line with your toes, and maybe turn that rear foot inwards to allow that to happen if your hips are feeling a bit closed. Knee over the ankle, reaching the arms out either side. And doing that little bobbing motion again, up and down. So just taking the pressure off that front leg a little bit. And as you sink down, making sure that you are pressing through the toes, squeezing those muscles, drawing the shoulders away from the ears. Moving slowly here. Maybe you hold that Warrior Two for a little longer if you like. And then taking that forearm, planting it on the thigh here, and you can take the right arm up to the sky. You get blinded. And again, you've got those options. You can swoop that arm across the front of the body, reaching towards the front of the mat, getting a lovely lift through the hip. Making sure that core's engaged, so drawing the belly in. Try not to lean too much on this arm, taking the weight off there a little bit, creating some space between your rib cage and your thigh. You can also have a go at lifting that arm if that feels appropriate. Or again, you can also take that down to the mat if you prefer. Swooping that arm. Taking that right hand down to the mat, turning the foot and the knee down to the ground, and then walking that left foot out to the edge of your mat, toes facing outwards, heel facing inwards. Taking some knee circles here in your lizard pose.
Come here. Come on.
And again, you can come down onto your forearms, or even look over your left shoulder, applying a little bit of gentle pressure the thigh or even to the lower back on the opposite hip. Taking the palms down to the mat, scooching the left foot in, taking that weight back and drawing the toes towards the sky. Just taking a little stretch across the calf muscles here again. And for some of you that might feel a bit intense on the hips, so you can always scooch backwards and forwards, or if you've got some blocks here to give you a little bit of height, you can use those. And I'm going to flex my toes towards the sky so that it can here.
Go! Go!
And then from here we're going to bring our feet together in a seated position in Baddha Konasana. So coming down onto your bottom, whichever way is comfortable for you, and swinging the other leg around. So I'm going to scooch myself centrally. And with Baddha Konasana, or cobbler's pose, or you might know it as butterfly pose, you bring the soles of the feet together. Oh, they're pretty sandy now. And coming up nice and tall on the sits bones. So it can be a fairly gentle position with the heels far away from the groin. Or you can bring it in slightly closer if you want to encourage those hips to open a little bit more. So you'll see here, this is probably where my hips will open to with gravity. And then with the heels a little bit closer, you get that kind of pulling action which opens up the hips a bit more. So one is more intense than the other, one's kind of active stretch, one's a more sort of gentle passive one. So I'll let you decide what you want to do. Drawing the belly in, staying up nice and tall, giving the toes a wiggle. If you want to here, you can release if it's a pretty intense version and go for a little fold. Rather than trying to get your face on your feet, I'd like you to think about drawing the spine out of the hips and getting your chest towards your heels instead. Super. So what we are going to do is open out the legs, give them a little bit of a stretch out here. And if you find that this is a little bit tight for the hips, you can always take one leg in just to chill out with regards to that. So just pushing the heels down, toes towards the sky, and just trying to stay up nice and tall. Maybe the fingertips are down on the ground and the spine is nice and long. I like going for a bit of a toe wiggle here. Options are some gentle twists or even some reaches towards the feet. So I quite like to keep this open because for some people just sitting like this is important for improving a sense of flexibility here. But if you do want to move, there's a couple of options. You can go for like a churning mill pose, so you can hold the hands and reach gently forwards and back. You can take your hands to your hips and do those kind of circular motions that we did before right at the start. Or you can do some side stretches nice and gently here as well. If you need to bend the knees softly here, or even turn the mat over to raise your hips up a little bit or sit in a book, you can do. And then when you've had enough, you give the legs a good shake out. It's coming very close. So what I'm going to do is swing my legs onto the mat, staying nice and brave. And we're going to come onto our backs here. I think you guys are going to be okay. Coming onto the backs here, you can slowly twist the knees gently from side to side, keeping the soles of the feet on the mat. some final stretches before we take Shavasana. So floating the feet above the mat in line with the knees. You can take a figure four. So my right ankle is going to go in front of my left knee. I'm just going to scooch that left knee back, right knee pushing away. If it's more comfortable for you to have the sole of your foot on the ground, go for more a sunbathing position, you can take that instead, or you can keep that float here. And this one's quite a nice one. If you really enjoy this particular position, you can hold it for a bit longer. I'll just offer it for the other side as well. So feel free to linger here if you want. So with these final stretches, maybe it's a continuation of your inversion, a little bit more happy baby, straight leg feet towards the sky, maybe a side stretch or a big hug, a squeeze, a full body lengthen. Just moving gently here with your body. So you can choose to take your Shavasana lying back as normal, or you can take this kind of relaxation in a seated position if you'd prefer. So I'll leave it up to you today. So whether you're seated or lying back, begin by taking your awareness into those points of contact with the ground. Become familiar with the weight of your body at these parts. And then, as a contrast, notice the space between your skin and the air surrounding it. That space above you. Notice the subtle sensations on your skin from that breeze, from the sun, perhaps from the hairs tickling your face and neck. Let the ground support your body here, taking that weight so that you may relax, absorbing the energy from your breath and the light from the sun above you. Imagine that you can feel your cells being nourished with every breath. Your skin and muscles relaxing with the beat of the sun's rays. That point where your skin ends and the rest of the world begins becoming harder to discern. You are light and you are earth. Part of a greater whole. Wherever your mind may have wandered to, guide it gently back here. Back to your body lying here on the mat. Back to your breath, moving through your nose and into your chest and belly. Feel your body pressing down into the ground, the sun on your skin. Start to gently wiggle fingers and toes. Awareness flooding back to your body now. Encouraging any small movements. And I'm gently going to chime this bell to signify the end of Shavasana, to take a full stretch and slowly bring yourself up into seated. I'm going to ring the bell now. Bring yourself up slowly into seated, giving yourself a big hug. Notice how your body feels, your natural pattern of breathing, and just how you feel on the inside. Bringing the palms together one last time. And remembering our theme. I let go of past mistakes. I create the life I want to live. I'm going to close this practice with one round of Om. You can join in if you like. I'm going to take an inhale now. Thank you for joining me for a hilarious yoga practice where we got chased by the sea. We're all going to get in now, hopefully. So thank you for tuning in, and namaste. Whew. Now we can get purposely wet.